Hey, my name is Brent here on Cloudy with the Chance of Meeples. Today on the channel, yes, I have hair. Not often do you see it, but yes, in fact, I do have hair. But anyways, today we are looking at Exit the Game, an advent calendar, the missing Hollywood star. This is all I'm going to show you because if I open this, everything that we've opened up is going to fall out and I'm going to spoil everything. So, not going to do that. I'm going to put it over here. And so we're going to discuss this game. Exit the Games, I love. My wife loves. My kids, we've done now. This is our third Exit the Game advent calendar. And so I'm going to show you what's inside one of the doors. If you want to see nothing about it, just skip to my final thoughts and then I will share that. But if you're new to this whole Exit the Game advent calendars, what do these things look like? Maybe you've seen it in a store and you're wondering, hey, should I get this for, the season of Advent? Well, I'm going to show you what's in one of the doors. I'm not going to tell you what door number it is, but just so you can kind of get a grasp as to what to expect. So let me show you my final forecast coming up. Cue thunder. So the radar overview for Exit the Game, the missing Hollywood star. As you see, this is in one of the rooms. I'm not going to show you which room it is, what number, nothing like that, or where it is on the box, but this is just what you might see in a room. And often in these rooms, there'll also be, a riddle card. There might be a strange item. And so then you'll be looking at the walls, at the ceilings, at the floor, all the sorts, looking what's in the room to see if there's any clues or anything of sorts. As you can see, if you are a fan of movies from the 90s, I think it's the 90s, this would be a very popular movie starring Tom Hanks. And of course, he has no face, but he's holding a box of chocolates. But you'll go through this puzzle or these riddles each day and be opening up different rooms. You'll use this decoder table. You'll put a code. Maybe you think it's 555. At that point, you would flip it over. And then you would follow from where I'm at, up, down, and down, and if that then matches moon, and star on that next door, you would then put the next number. If this is day 1, then you'd put number 2. But this is in a nutshell what you can expect in one of these advent calendars, Exit the Game advent calendars. Hopefully I didn't ruin anything too much for you, but let me now move on over and talk about the final forecast and my thoughts on this advent calendar. So the final forecast for Exit the Game, the missing Hollywood star, looks something like this. I'll say right off the bat, I'm giving it a 70% chance of Meeples. 7 out of 10, 70% chance, and this is why. If you want to know more, I'm going to spoil maybe what's in a couple of the rooms. I'm not going to spoil how anything's made, how anything's solved, nothing like that. It'll just be hypothetically some of the story, but you won't even be able to figure it out from what I'm about to say. But every day you're going to have this storybook, and this is a level beginner level, so one of the easier ones. It says on the box 10 and up. Our kids 8 and 11, they've been doing Exit the Game advent calendars, so they're quote-unquote seasoned veterans now, with this being the third one. A lot of these puzzles, riddles, were pretty easy. A lot of these weren't groundbreaking. They were just clever puzzles. Okay, they used the box in some clever ways that I thought it was going to be like this or going to be like that, and I kind of got duped in that regard. So that was some really neat things. They used the box and the components and a couple really unique things that I thought were quite clever. Like I said, a lot of the puzzles are pretty easy. We did some of these in less than a minute. It took longer to read that day's entry in the story than doing the riddle itself or the puzzle itself. We needed, I think, 2 answers. One of them was because I was dead set on it being a specific combination and Dad was wrong. And so humble pie tasted good that evening. But we figured out 95% of them, and that was fun. I enjoyed reading it with my kids. It was kind of like every night after supper. It took us maybe 15 minutes. And so I don't think we ever had to double up on a day, but if you fall behind, you could easily do a couple days worth in, half hour, 40 minutes. The reason I'm not giving it higher than 70 is because I feel it's split on who this is intended for, who the intended audience is for. If this is intended for adults wanting a very simple beginner level entry level exit game, I think they might be disappointed because the riddles and the puzzles will be too easy. But if it's directed for families much like myself, it's a little weird because my kids were able to figure out a lot of the riddles. That's fantastic. That was a lot of fun for them. The story, on the other hand, it's not like mature in any stretch of the imagination. Well, you can read this. This isn't spoiling anything. You can read the back of this. Yippee, yay, foxy mucker. Okay, so if you know anything about Die Hard, you know where they got that from. Kids probably haven't seen Die Hard, so they won't catch that. So there's some stuff that might resonate with the parents. Okay, in one of the doors, my kids don't know anything about the movie Dirty Dancing, nor do they know anything about the original 80s Ghostbusters. They don't need it. They didn't need to know anything about those movies to figure out the puzzles. But there was more questions for them like, hey, what movie is that? And then me trying to explain, oh, this is from this movie from 40 years ago that's maybe not necessarily appropriate for you at this age. Okay, and so it was more like that. So the riddles, super easy, kids can grasp. Story, nods to parents. And then kids may ask like, hey, what movie is that? Or, maybe they wouldn't grasp some of the concept of the riddle. They could figure it out, but they didn't know the nod of the riddle much like I did. So it is what it is. It's not a bad one, 70% Chance of Meeples. But I liked the one from last year better, the Silent Storm. I thought that one used the components in more clever ways. This one had a little like, oh, that's really cool moments. So if you haven't done any of these, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised on how they use the components and how they hide things and sneaky things like that. And so, again, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the time with my kids. It was just a little weird for me that some of the movies that they reference in this aren't necessarily ones that my kids would have seen. And so that was the disconnect. But overall, 70% Chance of Meeples. I enjoyed it. I think the Silent Storm one is better. But those are my thoughts on The Missing Hollywood Star. My name is Brent. Until next time, grab your umbrella. The forecast is cloudy with a chance of meeples.